People, here we go. August the 14th, 2024 on this Gregorian calendar at 7:36 Eastern Standard Time. My people here in Philly, Kalama'at Amin Ra. Sunblow weather update. We're going to look at the last 24 hours interaction between the sun, earth shields or dome and earth. We're going to look at the interaction between them. And if you're just looking at the last 24 hours, as you can see, which is very eye-popping to you, is the magnetic field, the dome, earth shield, supposedly that protects us from harmful solar radiation, ultraviolet light, gamma rays. I don't need any protection from our sun. I am the sun and the sun is me. In fact, I am all that is natural, and all that is natural is me. So just looking at the interactions between the sun, earth shields, and earth. And then we just go with the daytime side. We don't have to look at the nighttime side, my people. We can just look at the daytime side. Earth is in the middle. The white side is the daytime side. The sun is over here. This is the nighttime side. So let's just take a look at that for the last 24 hours. Let's just look at that interaction right there. So let me just right off the bat. Obviously, we know these dots right here is an orbital track. And that orbital track is for these two satellites, Gold 16 and Gold 18, to orbit Earth. And their main job is to detect solar radiation. Now, just looking at Earth, right, you can clearly see that radiation is no longer in your exosphere. It's not just out here. This is what you would consider your exosphere, right? Let's get a little closer with Earth. Your troposphere, which is right above your head. And then right above that is your stratosphere. And right above that is your mesosphere. And right above that, which you would consider out here, would be your thermosphere. Right before you get to the dome would be your thermosphere. And then on the other side of the dome, they would consider that as your exosphere. Now, let's just look right here, my people. Let's look right there. Between the troposphere and your stratosphere. Just look at that alone. Do you see all of that extreme radiation? See, this is why I also say to my people is that if you look at these other people, the complex cell organism that reports the activities of the sun and earth, they don't show this model. And not only that, whenever they report these CMEs, coronal mass ejections, or these geostorms that are coming from the sun, they always talk about electronics, satellites. They always talk about the materialistic things, non-sentient things. But they don't want to speak about the direct residual effects that this have on all sentient beings, all life on the planet. It don't make a difference whether you're a prokaryotic cell or a eukaryotic cell, whether you're a single cell organism or a complex cell organism. And a complex cell organism meaning that you took genetic information from other species in order to create one living species, which is the Asian man, the Arab man, and the white man. And you have the East Indians, like Dr. Shiva. You have your Mexicans, and then the rest came from mixed breeding and raping. I mean, it is what it is. There's no denying this now. And I know that there are certain parts of this world that which we're in, certain countries, let's just say, not just here in America, but other places in this country, that people are avoiding the sun during the day. And they come out like mosquitoes at night. I know this already. There are some that come out during the day because they want to try to normalize this as much as possible. I want to feel like I belong here on the planet. I already psychologically programmed myself that I belong here through genocide, manipulation. But now I am going to further my cognitive dissonance with the fact that I feel the difference with the sun, with my body, how the aches are happening, the headaches, You know what I'm saying? How I feel lethargic. How as soon as I go outside, I feel drained. I no longer want to do anything. My mood swings are constantly erratic now. See, you don't want to speak about these things because I know what's taking place with you. You understand? It is starting with the neurological aspect of you. It's starting in your brain. This is what the first thing that's going to be affected, and then the rest of it's going to fall like a domino effect. It is what it is. So as you are looking at this right here, it has nothing to do with just X flares and M flares and strong C flares. This has nothing to do with that. This is the fact that charged particles are coming to the planet, whether they come in CMEs or they just come with the fact that there is a sunspot that is facing us or a coronal hole that is facing Earth, which is a less dense part of the sun that is allowing charged particles to spew out to the planet. That's it. So other people can sit there and focus on, oh, look at the clouds, they so low to the ground. Look at the storms. You see the geometrical shapes in storms. Look at the triangle. Look at the square. You can continue. Look at the organic bean. Look at the beans. They're changing colors. You can focus on that all you want. But what you don't understand is that when you're looking at a lot of these orbs that are white and you see them changing color, especially in certain areas, you see them turn red. You don't understand what that really means. If you understood what that means, you would stop what you are doing right there, contributing to this totalitarian genocidal ass system that's not only destroying the organic species of this planet, but is destroying nature as well. It's an attack on nature. But let me explain something to you. Although you are attacking that in every aspect as you possibly can, following your government, following your leader, your creator, you still couldn't get rid of us. You still couldn't get rid of us because the planet would not function without the natural species here. And more importantly, the organic mothers and fathers of life. So just so that you know that. So we just looking at the last 24 hours as I'm speaking, and you can see the overwhelming amount of radiation that Earth is now swimming in. We are in the Pacific Ocean when it comes to radiation, my people. So now let me just hit this real fast and let's pull up the last 3 hours. The last 3 hours. And let's look at that. Nothing has changed. The dome evened itself back out. Look at the pressure. Look at the pressure still on the dome. Wow. Look at the pressure squeezing it down. And then look at this. Look at this. Look at this radiation. Huh? Still there. Nothing is changing. And this is why this instrument is more important. This right here is solar wind is more important than looking at a lot of those other instruments, because this right here you can literally say, well, wow, we're getting an overload of radiation from the nighttime side of the planet. And if we're getting an overload of radiation from the nighttime side of the planet, the weather anomalies, the ocean temperatures being heated up, and changes that are taking place with me is happening even at night. So now let's just move up here real quick to look at solar wind. Now this is the last 24 hours as well. So that reached up to 1,000. That once reached up to over 1,000 kilometers per second. Let me see, make sure I don't want to mislead anybody. Yep, 1,035 kilometers per second equals how many miles per hour. So again, like I stated to y'all, people that's watching this video should know already that the sun is over here, and these arrows represent solar radiation, and the length of the arrows represents the density, how strong they are. The length of these arrows represents the density of the particles that are coming to the planet. Now, I want you to really look at this. Look at this redness that pops up here. Look at the redness that pops up over here. And you're telling me that you have a blue and a black sky? That is false. Not to mention, like I always show you, look at that. Wow. Look at these arrows reversing back into the planet. There is something on the back side of the planet that is giving up equal amount of energy that our sun was giving up. And because you don't feel the burning on your skin, you think that this is not happening. You think that this doesn't have residual effects. because the sun, even when you outside and you can, it's warm or not warm, you can feel this, like the intensity, like the stinging on your skin. So what happens is at nighttime, because you don't see the sun anymore, but that doesn't mean the particles are still not coming to the planet. See, that's changing your anatomy. That's heating you up from the inside out. That's why sometimes at night it's hotter at night than it is during the day, or it's just as equally as hot. Because again, there is something in our atmosphere or something beneath us that is rising to the top of us that is heating the planet. And it is what it is. And they are connected. Whatever's beneath us is connected to that light above us. And they are right now playing ping pong with Mother Earth as far as sending charged particles into the planet. And I stated to you before, just look at this coming back down here. Looking at this, my people, this is why the airplanes don't glide out of the sky and crash. They just fall fast from the sky. Just understand that if you look at that flight that fell over in Brazil, the flight did not cruise through the sky as the engine failed. If you look at any airplane, any movie that has to do with an airplane crashing, all right, here's the movie. Is it 2012? I think it's 2012 or The Day After Tomorrow. No, 2012, when the Russian guy was and they was inside of the car. Inside of the airplane with the cars in, trying to head to China. When an engine fell, what did he do? It was gliding through the sky and it was sliding on the ground. It came to a point and it slid on the ground. He was able to land it on his belly. These airplanes are not doing that. They're falling directly from the sky. It's like they go in a spiral. The engine will fail. They'll go in a spiral and then they'll just fall directly to the ground. And they fall fast at that. So again, I'm not here to spook anyone. Go look up the shit for yourself. I'm not telling you what to do or not to do. I'm just giving you a reminder of what's taking place on the planet. It's food for thought. You do the dishes, Paul. So here we go right here. Remember when I said to you, my people, we're going to look at the last 7 days. Let's just look at the last 7 days, right? And the reason why I want to do that is because I want to show you something here. Now, when we look at the last 7 days, you're going to see, matter of fact, hold up. Let's go with the last 3 days first because it's better to do it this way. So when you look at this right here, right, we just had a X flare, right? We had an X flare, and before that we had a strong M flare and another strong M flare, right? And this is what I want you to look at. Remember last year when I was telling you about the C flare range and it was down here? Remember that? Remember when I was telling y'all that? I said, listen to me. Just understand, we're going to have C flares are going to maintain this level of intensities right here. I told you that. And if you look at the last 3 days, this is the last 3 days, look at the level of intensity that C flares have maintained, right? And you don't understand that these C flares, right, are still, they are keeping the atoms, the electrons from around the atoms. They are still keeping they are still keeping the electrons from around the atoms and keeping the atom exposed to UVA, UVB, and UVC radiation. It's like a cut that you have, but instead of the cut being starting to be closed up, it's a recut. The cut is constantly being open, so it's not allowing the cut to close up. And I hate to use that analogy, but it is what it is. It's like an open wound, and that C flares is keeping it open. So therefore, when you look at these C flares that's keeping it consistently open, so then when you get hit with an M flare, an N flare, and an X flare, this is speeding up the process of what's taking place, not just with you, but every living particle, every living entity, every living organism on thy planet. Even rocks, I want y'all to know, are changing on the planet. Even rocks, if you look across now in Africa, there are certain stones and stuff that are starting to produce more on the planet. Diamonds and shit are starting to come. Crystals are starting to produce more because things are changing. It's going back to a crystallized planet. This portion of the planet, anyway, the rest of it, yes, already was there. This portion of the planet is going back to a crystallized planet. Paul. In fact, some blood. There's only one true blood, and that's some blood.